Alright, last lesson of the chapter and of the week with the test tomorrow. Let's start with a brief review of fraction skills we've learned so far. So one thing we learned so far was to do a common denominator for these two things. Remember, the first week we learned that 6 is our biggest number, so we count by sixes. We ask ourselves, can 4 go into 6? No, it cannot. And so then we say, well, the next number for 6 would be 6 times 2, which is 12. We say, can 4 go into 12? Yes, it can, which means the common denominator would be 12. Then we had to rewrite a fraction like 5/7 with the denominator of 42. So again, 7 to 42, if you want to know what that is. Again, first off, we know we need 42 on the bottom. And so we say, what is 42 divided by 7? That answer is 6, which means we want to multiply the top by 6 because 7 is multiplied by 6. 5 needs to be multiplied by 6, giving us 30 over 42. And our last topic of the week is combining like terms. So imagine you had the following items in an inventory list: 1 ketchup, 3 mustard, 5 ketchup, 9 mustard. The word simplify literally means to write in simplest form. Is there a simpler way to write this list? If so, what is it? Think about this. If someone gave you this list, aren't they wasting their effort a little bit because they have 1 ketchup, 3 mustard, 5 ketchup, and 9 mustard? Why don't you just say 6 ketchup and 12 mustard? Well, that's what like terms are. Alright, so looking at that again, you have 1 ketchup and 5 ketchups, which makes 6, 3 mustards, 9 mustards, which makes 12. Same thing is done in algebra. You just have to notice that 1 ketchup and 5 ketchup made 6 ketchups. We did not change the label. We simply put we just put everything together. The same rule applies when we're doing the following problems. What people like to do in math is put 4x and 11x, which is easy, 11x, but they like to put 11x squared. That's not what you do. This is just a label. You have 4x's and 7x's, which make 11x's. You have 8m's minus 3m's, which makes 5, because 8 minus 3 is 5, 5m's. This is tricky because you got to make sure you understand that t just means that you have 1t there. You don't need to write it because we don't put a 1 in front of it, but 1t and 5t's make 6t. Alright? Of course it's not that easy, but again, you should understand it's not that tough either. So let's look at the problems that have been in your homework and let's move on to the work. So if you were asked to simplify this, we are looking for like terms, which means you are looking to say, what are two things I can put together? Hey, there's an m there and an m there. And so 4m and 9m make 13m, and then just bring down your plus 3n because it is still there. Alright. The second one, you have 8a, 5a, 2b. Hey, these two go together. 8a and 5a make 13a, and then don't forget to bring down your 2b. You even have some where they have constants, which is a number without a variable. So 8x has nothing to go with, but 3 and 6 can both go together. So bring down your 8x. 3 and 6 make 9. That would be it. Alright, so that's all you're doing when you combine like terms, is taking the two things that can go together, or 3 or 4 if there's more, and then combine them together and write them in the simplest way. Now, this is where we put everything together. Now, this is on your homework, but it's not to where you have to show the meanings, but we will keep things consistent. Remember distributive property. 3 meets 9f, and 3 meets 7. And then plus 2 is still just there. It doesn't meet the 2 because the 2 is not inside the parentheses. That turns into 27f plus 21 plus 2. Now look at what we have here. Can we simplify this? Can we put two things together? In my opinion, yes. These two constants can go together. So that ends up being 27f plus 23, which is where we need to go with this. Alright? And then we have this one here. Again, 6 meets 4z. I'll draw a line so I don't think it's a 2. And 6 meets 7. And then plus 8z just comes along for the ride. This turns into 24z plus 42 plus 8z. And what can I put together? Would be this and this, and it does help because otherwise I would have thought that was a z. So 24 and 8 make 32z, and then remember the plus 42 just comes down. Alright, You have a test tomorrow. The homework will have all the problems from this week on it, but you might want to find time to review last week's before doing the test. Again, I usually try to put everything on there, but I didn't want to give you too much because now that you have to actually get a 50% on your homework, I didn't want to work you to death. So even if it's just to glance at the problems and make sure you remember how to do them in your brain, that's fine. But you can email me for small explanations to get you back on track. You can email me for anything, actually. I'm always here to help as long as you're respectful and doing things the right way. But learning to properly advocate for yourself is the first step to success. That means speaking up for yourself in a way that is not cussing out the teacher, getting mad at the teacher. It's just saying, hey, I thought you said that we were, didn't you say we'd get a chance to use notes on this test or whatever it might be? Not lying, but of course, if something happens and you want to speak up for yourself, speak up for yourself. You're young adults now, and again, as long as you carry yourself the right way, people will listen to you, and if you do it really the right way, they'll actually do what you're asking them to do. Other than that, have best of luck on this test this week, and talk to you next week. Have a good day.